In this video, I'm going to answer the question, what weight gloves are the best for improving punching hand speed? Training in heavier gloves has long been thought to improve strength and therefore punching speed once you return to regular weight gloves. Others swear by shadowboxing with dumbbells. Resistance bands also feature highly on the list of exercises used to increase punch speed. And having been asked about adding resistance to punching practice to increase punch speed, I thought I'd share with you my thoughts. All strength and conditioning training should follow a progression from general movements to sport-specific movements. When it comes to loading up actual Muay Thai techniques themselves, you can't get much more specific than that. But, a word of caution, too much load will distort your finely tuned technique, and heavy repetitions will anchor wonky form and bad habits. So how much extra resistance is too much? I take my lead from research into baseball pitching with various weight balls, which I believe in the absence of punching specific research, the skill of throwing a ball is representative of throwing a punch too. The optimum weight balls for developing maximum throwing speed was plus or minus 20% of the weight of the ball used in competition. So for a fighter competing in 10-ounce gloves, training in 12-ounce plus 20% or 8-ounce minus 20% gloves matches these demands perfectly. If you fight in 8-ounce gloves, then 10-ounce and 6-ounce gloves will do the trick. At the other end of the spectrum, if you fight in 12-ounce gloves, then 10-ounce and 14-ounce gloves should be your choice. Heavier than 20% over your competition weight will affect your punching technique. You can't throw a heavy ball in the same way as you throw a lighter ball. Lighter than 20% under your competition weight will change your punching style too. You can't throw a screwed up ball of paper in the same way you'd throw a tennis ball. I'd also make the point that true max speed punch training should be done on pads and bags rather than in sparring. Trying to hit your partner's full bore with lighter gloves is not cool. There's less padding protecting your partner from your knuckles. It should be obvious by now that punching with heavy dumbbells or against resistance bands are likely to do more harm than good. In fact, resistance bands exert more resistance as you stretch them to punch. So you're slowing your arm as it extends, and that's the opposite of the acceleration you get while throwing a real punch. So you're trained to slow down as you extend your punch. But back to gloves. Why the heavier and lighter than competition ones? The heavier gloves develop greater force production, so strength, albeit at a slightly slower rate than needed, whereas the lighter gloves, they train the muscles to contract at a faster rate than possible with a regular weight glove. The combination of increased force and increased contractile speed with highly specific skill rehearsal makes for the fastest possible hand speed, and the plus or minus 20% loading ensures that the force and speed transfers to the punch in real performance, and it doesn't sabotage your punching skill. You can go heavier in general movements, not punching, because that won't confuse your punching skill. And at the other end of the extreme, you can experiment with this plus or minus 20% weight gloves while punching with maximum speed possible. So, build the general strength and power needed to boost up your punches, and then fine-tune that power with under and overspeed skill practice, but get the load right or risk spoiling your technique rather than improving it.